If I'm bored, what on earth do I do? What do you do with your spare time? I'm worried I get bored.
Well, you're worried. You have time and you need to fill it. Otherwise, you might go a little insane. There's multiple things you can do to fill your time, both inside the van and outside the van. Especially if you're van lifing in the UK, you do end up spending quite a bit of time in your van, especially in the winter.
Welcome back. We're Trist and Kez and we travel full time in our 36-year-old camper van, Old Gertie. Ta-da! We travel with our little French bulldog, Frank, and Murphy, our cat. Oh, hello, Murph. This week, we are chatting hobbies in your van. Because if there's one thing we can promise you, you have more time when you live in a van. And now the maths on that is so simple. You have less to clean, you have less clothes to wash, less things to put away. You have a tiny weeny space to maintain. So whilst it does take a portion of your time, nowhere near as much as when you live in a house. Also, when you live in a house, we all know you've got a focal point. It's a television. Well, when you live in a van, you don't have a telly. I mean, some people do have. Yeah, some people do have.
Some people do have fancy tellies you can pull out of cupboards. But we don't have a telly. We have a little iPad. Your day starts to lose the structure of the evenings come, or I've got a spare 5 minutes. Let me pop the box on. It doesn't really happen as much. You don't always get signal. You don't always have power. You have time, and you need to fill it. Otherwise, you might go a little insane. Just sat there like, oh, I've got all this time on my hands.
It's a question we've had from a few people, isn't it? Do you get bored in the van? What do you do with your spare time? I'm worried I get bored full time in a van. What on earth do I do?
Well, you're worried.
No,
Oh.
that's their questions.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm worried after a year.
I didn't realise.
People have written to us, haven't they, where they're like, I'm worried that I won't have enough to do.
Yes.
Like with my downtime. Obviously, there's plenty to do with vanning and whatnot.
Yeah, because I mean, it may be, some of you may be watching this going, oh my God, it's so easy to start a hobby. But it really isn't for some people.
Yeah.
So especially for me, I needed some inspiration of what to do with this newfound time. I mean, I've started reading I've just started reading, by the way. I've always been able to read for the last 41 years. It's not just something I've learned to read. There's multiple things you can do to fill your time, both inside the van and outside the van. So it's important to try and have a balance of both, isn't it? Because especially if you're van lifing in the UK, you do end up spending quite a bit of time in your van, especially in the winter. What you can do in your van?
Yeah.
Yeah? So for me, I've just started reading a bit more. It's something, before living in a van, I would grab 5 minutes here, grab 5 minutes there. I didn't really invest in reading, if that makes sense. But now I've got the time, also got these amazing little book swaps. All the old phone boxes all around the country have been changed into book exchanges. Although I have a Kindle, I never use it because Tris bought me the Kindle for my birthday. I love a book. I don't know about you guys, I love a book. You can just go and change it on the road, can't you? Constantly, like a mobile library. So yes, you've got reading in the van. Oh, what other many hobbies have I picked up this winter? I like to pick up a hobby, start a hobby, and then stop a hobby.
But saying before we carry on, reading, and I think some of the other ones we're going to mention are quite good because, like, electricity isn't always in abundance.
Yeah,
and
very
then
true.
in winter, where we get less days of sunshine, do you know what I mean?
Oh, Frank's farted.
Oh, thanks, farted.
That's the way he's laying with his legs
So this
sprayed.
week, glad you don't have smell-o-vision. Power needs, electricity, you know, obviously you see some people on YouTube and they've got like games consoles and that's cool if they've got the power. We haven't really got the power to run anything like that, or the space. So yeah, non-electric based hobbies do come in handy, don't they?
That's a very, very, very valid point. Very good point, Tristan.
Thank you. Thanks, Kez. Appreciate it.
But yeah, so in that same vein, it's, you know, picking up knitting, crocheting. If you're a girl, like making friendship bracelets, just anything that allows you to be a little bit creative. You don't have to be a master at any of these things. I love to do a little bit of drawing. Now I've seen some people on Instagram put together these amazing sketches, these amazing designs. Currently, my favourite is a felt tip squiggle. So I'll just do a massive squiggle on a page and then sit and colour in and make patterns. Sounds insane to some of you, trust me, you know.
Yeah, but that's quite big at the moment, isn't it? Like mindful colouring.
Yeah, I suppose that's what it is.
That...
Yeah, just start at every level. I think that's the thing when people say, oh, go and try some painting or try some knitting. It's quite daunting when you've never done that before. But it's like everyone has to be a beginner. Everyone has to start somewhere. So yeah, if you're interested in making your own things and making your own clothes, start at the basics.
Yeah.
Play cards.
Every van and motorhome should have one set of cards cards, and in my honest opinion, one set of Uno cards.
He's obsessed with Uno.
I love Uno. If you've not played it, it's brilliant. It's such
If you've not played it, have you lived under a rock?
Yeah.
Because everyone knows Uno. I think this guy's just spotted an open window.
We did have a league leaderboard, didn't we?
Yeah, Trist made us abolish that because he was losing, so...
I thought we just lost it, but anyway.
Sure. When it comes to outside of your van, I'm going to sound super cliche now. Nature is your playground. There is multifaceted ways you can enjoy it, and I think it can almost seem overwhelming to a lot of people, where you're just kind of like, well, you know, you look at a woods, for example. Well, okay, I'll just go for a walk. There's a million things you can do in the woods based on what you want from the outside. If you want peace and tranquility, you could go and try some forest bathing, go for like a little amble through the woods, pack up a picnic, go and set yourself up a blanket and just listen to the birds. We quite often like to take our camping chairs into the woods with us and just sit and listen to the bird song. If you're more of an adrenaline seeker and you want to get a bit more of a oomph when you go outside, mountain biking, there are so many tracks we see.
Over 140 miles of tracks and footpaths and cycleways
in the
here
New
in the New
Forest.
Forest. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Or you might be an even extreme sort of adrenaline junkie and you can get into peak walking and climbing mountains. You know, I think it's really about understanding what you want from the outside and then utilising it in that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's a whole section in itself, isn't it? Yeah, understanding what you want from van life, motorhome life, and what you like doing, and try and marry those up, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is you've literally hit the nail on the head. When you live in a house, your hobbies are external to where you live. Whereas when you live in a van, your hobbies can become your life.
Yeah.
So, for example, as if you followed us for a while, you know, Trist is a very good surfer. He loves surfing. So therefore, when we can, we try and find locations near or on surfing beaches. That it means that you can then invest in that hobby. I've recently taken up fishing, something I'm absolutely loving.
Yeah.
And again, we can then make sure that we theme next week's stay or in a month's time around some good sea fishing spots or some river fishing. Once you get your head around the fact that you can make your hobbies your life and then your home will just blend into it rather than them existing sort of separately.
Yeah, well, because I think some people, and that's why we say it in this manner, because some people will be like, I just like to go away in my motorhome, camper van, park up, that's it, we're done.
Yeah.
We're relaxing. So, you know, you won't want to be doing high adrenaline sports.
No.
And some people, what I just said will drive you nuts and you'll want to be out doing something all the time. So it's really honing down what you like doing in terms of walking, cycling, etc. How much of a buzz or excitement or relaxation that you want. You know, we've already said for future journeys to the New Forest, you know, we've walked, you know, probably only a little bit of it, but we feel like a fair bit of the New Forest we've walked. But then if we enter bikes into this whole situation, you know, it's a completely different place again,
Changes
isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's a playground, isn't it?
Yeah,
It really
different
is.
excitement levels.
Yeah, you can make the outdoors work for you. I mean, it's the same as we're talking about nature here because we love nature, but it might be that you're avid theatre goers or you enjoy the cinema, even eating out's your thing. You can adapt your travels to that. We know Britstop's got over 1,000 eateries that you can go and stay out, from vineyards to farm shops to pubs. There is some brilliant campsites that are set up for city visitors. Put your home where your interests are.
Yeah.
You don't let life dictate to you. Let what you want from it lead where you go, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Understand what it is you like to do, be, and explore,
Yeah.
and work that in.
Yeah.
You know, it might be that, if you're into bowling and cinema and those sorts of things, that either you stay in areas like that or you dip in, you do your hobby, what you like to do with your partner, and then you get on back out into some countryside and wherever you want to stay.
Very much about adjusting your life to what you enjoy, which is really alien because sort of spare time or free time is something that, you know, you're told to save it up until you're 80. So when suddenly you're in a van and you realise, hey, I don't need half the stuff I'm told that I need to live, and exchange I've got all of this extra time, can sort of almost feel like, oh, I shouldn't be using all this time for me, but you can.
Yeah. And I think that works quite well if you've got a partner. We're quite fortunate, we like doing a lot of the same thing, but there will be relationships out there where you like completely completely separate things to do. Try and figure that out, you know, say like here at the New Forest, one of us might like reading, like you. The other person can go out and wildlife watching or whatever. And then actually what I'd like to add is a lot of the things that we've spoken about, you can actually theme your journeys, trips to certain areas, can't you?
I mean, that's what we do, don't we? That's sort of where we find our locations. Will be this month we fancy doing some fishing, this month we'll fancy doing some surfing, this month we want to go walking and hiking through the woods. So we very much theme our stops of where we go based on what we like to do. Hence why we haven't taken you into a city, because we don't like busy places and lots of crowds. So, you know. That
might be an ideal way for people who're stuck on kind of like, oh, where do we next go on our next trip? We need epic views and da-da-da. And it might be like, actually like doing pubs, you know, cinema or walks or whatever it is, and, you know, surfing. And then you can actually go back to the drawing board and go, right, these are all the places we want to go surfing. Where can we stay nearby? And then you work your trip out from there.
And then I think 2 final hobbies that we will leave you with. I don't know if you can call having animals a hobby, but I promise you, if you are an animal person, it is a beautiful way to fill your time. Walking your cat alone will take you at least an hour.
And you won't go far.
You won't go far. It's actually really meditative, and you can do it with a book as well, which I've been doing, which is lovely. They fill your time. So sometimes when you're in a van, especially when it's dark or it's wet, to actually get out and explore can sometimes feel a little bit of a push. Whereas when you've got 2 animals barking and meowing at you because they want to get out and explore, it gives you a reason.
The choice has been made for you.
Exactly. So it pushes you to do things as well, having animals, which, they're
a brilliant waste of time, aren't they?
They are a brilliant waste of time. That's a really good way of looking at it. Wouldn't be the same without these 2 guys along for the journeys. Get yourself a dog or a cat. Although, to be fair, we've even seen a couple who'd moved into their van full time. They had a dog, a cat, bunny rabbit and a tortoise, all of which they walked in a lead. It was brilliant, and they were the happiest little animals. The last and final one is just film it, capture it. Filming all of your adventures and editing it and putting it all together, what you're actually doing is building yourself a virtual memory book. I promise you, in years to come, you have all of that footage to look back on. You will not regret spending the time. Create a YouTube channel, guys. Go and create one.
Well, that's what our channel started off, really, wasn't it? A couple of years ago. Filming, like documenting our travels, really, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, and to be able to share with our family where we were and what we were doing and what we were seeing.
Easier to convey that than kind of like, here are all the pictures that even we've watched some of them back and... Yeah, no, it's lovely. If you can't think of anything else to do, then honestly, filming, I used to be shocking at editing. I'm only mildly better now, but I've really enjoyed learning the skill of it, and to have all of these videos to look back on. Not these videos, Trist edits these videos. I do Instagram, you can tell the difference, trust me. Drop us a comment. What's your favourite hobby in the van, or what do you do to, I was going to say kill time, that's such an awful way of putting it, isn't it?
Well, no, it's being funny. And what's your favourite waste of time?
Yeah, what's your favourite waste of time?
It's not, we know you're not wasting time. What do you fill your time with in the van, or how do you utilise the extra time that you have?
We love a good sunset, don't we?
Yeah.
We're sunsetters. People love a sunrise. What's your favourite? Let us know below.
We hope this has given you some ideas of what to do.
For any other inspiration for van life hacks or destinations or campsites to go and stay at, go over to the website tristandkez.com.
So every Thursday we are now sending out a weekly newsletter with all things travel and van life to hopefully give you a little bit more resource to fuel your adventures. So if you haven't subscribed, link below, sign up, because you've already missed 4 emails now, guys. So
thank you to everyone that supports our channel. We absolutely appreciate it. You are absolute legends. Thank you for everyone who's bought us a coffee, likes, comments, shares, subscribes to the channel. You know who you are. I'm looking at you. Thank you very much, because without you guys this channel does not exist. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification and drop us a comment on what your favourite hobby is in the van. And until next time, folks,
bye for now.
Bye for now. Should we do it again?
Why did you leave such a pause?
I don't know. I didn't know if you were going to do it. Right, you ready?
Yeah.
Until next time, folks. Bye for now. Peace.